Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well. Today is Tuesday, August the 4th. Nice push towards the upside yesterday on the major indices. As you can see, SPY is leading the way back towards the upside. We are currently at all-time highs here on the SPY. The Q's bouncing nicely, SMH lagging behind. It is up nice in the pre-market with a bunch of other semiconductors moving nicely here in the pre-market as well. There's quite a things to talk about coming into today with the markets, of course, flipping here. SPYs at all-time highs. Q's breaking back above key technical levels. A lot of names are bouncing nicely. Tesla as well, along with a few other semiconductors. AMD bouncing coming into earnings. So we do have quite a bit of talk about coming into market open here. What's up, everyone? Hope you guys are doing well. What's up, J10, Calvin, B Roots, Cody, Maria, Knight, Gerald? Good morning, Juan. What's up, Law, Hannah, Lamit? What's up, everyone? Ryan, Deuce. What's up, Bobby, Venus, Robert, Andrea, Julius? What's up, everyone? Ken, Greg, hope you guys are doing well. How's everyone's trading been? Did you guys take any trades yesterday towards the upside? Or were you guys more hands off? We did end up having a nice trend day on the SPY and on the major indices. And of course, a lot of other tech names started trending here as well. One thing to keep in mind is we are at a point in the markets where now people won't expect it to go higher, right? A lot of it has just been consolidation, and we've been in a downtrend. Now the markets are flipping, SPYs at all-time highs, Qs is reclaiming back above the 700. There's a lot of room back towards the upside here on the major indices, the SMH, similar thesis, and then of course SPY now. What we're going to be looking for is now the continuation above our all-time highs for a push towards the upside. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys were able to capture some trades yesterday. Let me pull up the economic calendar. Let me hit a refresh. Gerald, solid ES trade yesterday. Nice. What's up, everyone? Good morning. Okay. Let's pull up the economic calendar here and talk about what we have coming into market open. Number one, we do have Jolts. That's going to be at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not really expecting this one to affect the market as much. Wednesday, we do have some more orange folder news. That's going to be ADP non-farm enrollment change along with the ISM services at 10 a.m. We have the unemployment at 8:30. And then on Friday, we have average hourly earnings month over month, along with the non-farm enrollment change. And then we also have the unemployment rate here as well. So that's what we have, at least for the economic calendar. Some other things to keep in mind. We have some red folder news event in the market. Not really affecting it as much, but you can see the overall market. There's a couple things to there's a couple reasons why the market is rallying. Number one, what we had was the FOMC news from last week. So the FOMC is always very key. This only happens roughly, I think it's 8 times a year, but the FOMC news event always is very important. Plus, we had the Fed speaking, and we had some other news events as well in the markets that ended up lifting the markets higher. Right, we gap down, and then we end up closing back above the next day, and you can see that this nice rally now back up in towards our all-time highs. For the Qs, we're above that FOMC high. You can see basically this is their exact bottom here on the Qs. Now we're reclaiming back above the 700. Lots of room towards the upside, back up in towards the 740. So for the spine Qs, nice push towards the upside here. Now what we're going to be looking for is a continued push back towards the highs. Took Nvidia yesterday. Nice cake. Was that off that previous day highs? There's a couple nice previous day highs retests yesterday. You had the Tesla previous day high retest. You had an Nvidia previous day high retest. You had a couple nice names. You had a couple nice names that moved yesterday. Okay, let's talk about the earnings that we have coming into today. Caterpillar in the morning was pretty big. We have McDonald's, Some other ones to keep an eye out for, at least later into the day, is going to be AMD SpaceX. Those are the big ones, big semiconductor plus SpaceX as well. That's going to be the first earnings that we have. So expecting quite a bit of volatility. And then, as you can see, there's a few other names: ANET, ALAB, Open Door. But the main ones is going to be AMD and SpaceX this morning. We have Shopify tomorrow morning, Uber as well. And then on Wednesday after closed, we have a couple big memory names, SanDisk along with Western Digital. And you could also keep an eye out on APP as well. So today's going to be fairly big, of course, with AMD and SpaceX earnings. And then tomorrow we'll keep an eye on some memory, SanDisk along with Western Digital. All right, with that being said, let's talk about the overall markets here now from a higher time frame perspective. We'll start off here on the daily chart here on the SPY and Qs, and then we'll make our way down into some of the tech names that we have coming to market open here. So with that being said, let's take a look at the SPY here. What do we have and what are the levels that we have marked out? Number one, we can just mark out that 730, and now we can drag this up into that 760. So this is roughly the range that we've had on the SPY within the past 2 to 3 months. Came back down, bounced, came back down, bounced off that 730. And you can see last week came back down once again, bounced off the 730, and now we're continuing back towards the upside. What would we like to see moving forward? Right, as of recent, we had this nice push towards the upside here on SPY. A lot of buyers stepping in, plus we had that FOMC bounce as well. Now what I like to see is the break above, continuation towards the upside on the SPY. Yesterday, we broke above a key technical level of resistance. You can see kind of rejecting off this minor level, which is at 750, but blew past that 755. Blew past our 755. Next level was at all-time highs. Now what we like to see is just continuation here in the markets. Preferably the break above that 760 for continuation. It could have a little bit of seller step in, and then you'd be looking for that higher low above our 755 for a push towards the upside. So this is what I'm looking for here on the SPY. You could be looking for this rejection. This is something I do not want to see here on the SPY. I want to see the QQQ reclaim back above, which it's currently doing. And then I want to see now the SPY make it brand new all-time highs for continuation. So moving forward, we're going to be looking for that next leg. Now, if you're zooming out as well, we had this nice continuation towards the upside. We had consolidation. Now let's see if we can get this next leg towards the upside. So trend, consolidation, and now let's see if the markets can start to trend once again here on the SPY. So that's what I have here on the daily. If we have the 1 hour time frame pulled up, what are the key technical levels that I have coming into today? We do have that previous all-time highs, which we're currently hitting here in the pre-market, which is that 760. Other levels that we could have marked out here now as well is going to be our previous day highs, 758. That's our key level. So today, what we're going to keep an eye out on is longs above our 760 for continuation. If sellers step in right off the bat, then we're going to be looking for that higher low off our previous day highs for that continued pushback towards the upside. So these are the two long scenarios for the overall markets here today. This is not something you really want to short. You could be looking for the rejection underneath that previous day highs for a pushback towards the downside. Probably a little less likely that this is going to form here after having a strong breakout towards the upside here now. So we're going to keep an eye out on the reaction that we have off that 760 along with that 758 coming into market open here on the SPY. If you go into the ES, what are the key technical levels that we have marked out on this one? Let's just mark out this, change the level. The next level is going to be that all-time highs here on the futures. So for the ES, the key technical levels that we have marked out coming into today, as you can see yesterday, we end up having that nice previous day high retest that we talked about for a continuation towards the upside. As I mentioned, next level on the ES now is going to be our all-time highs. So what I'm going to have marked out in this case is just going to be that all-time highs. So all-time highs, we have our previous day highs marked out. Now what I like to see is just continuation above our previous day highs. So we can mark out this level. So there's actually two levels that we can have marked out. Let's just mark out this pre-market high. So we're going to be looking for continuation above our pre-market high, or now above our previous day highs for continuation back towards the upside here as well. So this is what we have on the SPY and the ES. Now let's go on to the QQQ. Hi, Jack Forex Trader. Not sure if your mentorship is limited to futures. I'm happy to switch to futures if there's basic course covering that. We do have futures options along with stocks. Forex, not as much. A lot of Forex is, I'd say, more so consolidation compared to futures and stocks, which tends to rise. But we do have modules covering that. What's up, Vaughn? Took SPY and Qs. Nice, Andrea. What's up? A couple of small trades yesterday. MRVL, SK Hynix, but mostly seeing S&D creep back towards break even. Yeah, a lot of the semis have been bouncing. We'll talk about that here in a second. But the semiconductors, as of recent, have been bouncing at least the past couple of days. We'll talk about them more so in specific. But they are in a really nice retracement. So good dip ads presenting themselves in INTC, MRVL, and a lot of these other tickers here. So for the Qs, let's take a look at this one on the higher time frames. So Qs, nice push towards the upside, consolidation. We ended up breaking underneath, but now we're trying to reclaim back above. What would I like to see play out here on the Qs? So we have our consolidation. We broke towards the downside. Now with us reclaiming back above, I want to see this move right here. I want to see the reclaim and a push back up in towards that all-time highs, right? Accumulation, manipulation, and then you have this distribution back towards the upside, especially with the SPY breaking out towards all-time highs. The Qs generally, right, you like to see this lead the market, but especially with the SPY leading, right now we like to see some renewed strength in some of the semiconductors along with some of the tech names. So key technical level moving forward, we just have this drawn out our 700. You can see yesterday buyers end up stepping back above. You can see this morning we are currently above our previous day highs. So what would I like to see here on the Qs coming to market open, and what are the key technical levels that I have marked out? Right here, we have our 70, this is our 707 here in the pre-market. Other levels we have marked out are previous day highs. As for yesterday, once we're able to break above that 692, nice continuation. At least for today, this is the area that we originally broke down from. So the next leg towards the upside here on Qs is going to be above our previous day highs, or now above our pre-market highs for continuation towards the upside. So this is what we have for the QQQ, at least coming to market open here. What are the key levels that I have marked out? We're going to mark out that pre-market highs. We're going to mark out that previous day highs. I personally like longs above our pre-market highs for continuation. If we do pull back coming to market open, you can keep an eye out on that previous day high bounce for continuation towards the upside. So two scenarios here on the QQQ coming into market open. As for the NQ, what are the key technical levels that we have marked out? As you can see here on the NQ, look at the buyer step in right off of our previous all-time highs. So far, we're having this pretty solid bounce. Right off that previous all-time highs here, 27,500. We are getting back above our key technical levels here now as well. What I like to see is this push back up in towards the middle of the range plus our all-time highs here on the NQ. Key technical levels that I have coming into market open. What we do have marked out is going to be that 29,400, which is the area that we broke down from. Plus we have our basically our 29,000. So for the NQ coming to market open here, these are the levels that we have marked out. If you want to see continuation here today, above our 29,300, or now be the pullback down in towards that 29,100 for continuation towards the upside. You can see this one's fairly bullish. We're above our previous day highs here. So we can also have that level marked out here as well. And we can drag that down. So a couple key things that we're looking for on the major indices here today. It's really just going to be the SPY all-time highs reaction. And then now for the Qs, the key levels that we have marked out is going to be that 710 coming into market open. As for the SMH, which is the semiconductor ETF, you can see this one's definitely lagging behind, but I mentioned the 50 to 60% retracement. This is the area that you want to be looking for, right? Buying opportunities, especially after a large uptrend, right? Just mark out your Fibonacci from swing low to swing high. This is the golden pocket, 50% retracement to a 61.8. Now you can see semis are bouncing. Let's see if we can get that push back towards the upside. A lot of these names are in great areas as well. INTC, MRVL, right? MU, right? These ones have pulled back roughly 30, anywhere between 30 to 50%. And those are good opportunities for a move back towards the upside, especially low risk. So for the SMH, if you look at this on the daily time frame, what I like to see here is now the reclaim back above the area that we broke down from. In this case, we have two key technical levels. We have this level right here, which is going to be that 560, and then we have our 580. So far, the SMH is still technically in a downtrend here on the daily chart. You can consider this right here, which is our daily lower high. Right now, we're trying to break back above. If we can reclaim back above that 560 hold, then we can see a flip on the semiconductors here as well. If you look at this here on the hourly time frame, what are the key technical levels that I have today? You can see yesterday, this one was a lot weaker underneath our previous lows, reclaimed. And now you can see in the pre-market, we're showing some strength. What are the key levels? 560, maintain above that 560, hold for continuation back towards the upside. This is what I'm going to be looking for on the semiconductors coming to market open. I am now leaning a lot more bullish here on the SPY and Qs just because the SPY is breaking or trying to break outside this range here on the higher time frames. We'll take a look at the IWM here now as well. You can see the IWM, nice buyer stepped in off this 288. Now what I like to see for the IWM is that push back up in towards all-time highs. If we're looking at this here on the daily time frame, key technical levels that we have marked out is that 298. The hold above our 298. Let's see if we can get that push up in towards that 302 here on the higher time frame. So that's what I have on the IWM coming to market open. Now let's head on to some tech names, starting off with Tesla. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you guys would like me to go over here now, you guys can drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch list, that of course is in the description below here as well. I'm going to grab some water here and then we'll talk about the tech names. Okay, if price is above the 9 and 21 on 15, but price is still underneath the EMAs on the daily. Do you personally go long for intraday? Right, that's more contest based hard tick, but a lot of the times, if you are above the key EMAs, it's going to be a short-term trend. Something like Tesla, for example, this one's in a downtrend, but you can see technically we're above the 9 and 21 on the 15-minute. The daily time frame we're underneath, but Tesla's something that we ended up trading yesterday towards the upside, just because the overall market was bouncing here as well. So let's go on to Tesla here. Let's take a look at this one on the daily time frame. What are the key levels that we have marked out yesterday? You mentioned we just had that earnings low, right? That was key. And as you can see, once we end up reclaiming back above, we had a nice trade towards the upside. So for Tesla, now moving forward, what are the levels that we have marked out? In this case, we have our earnings high. So that's going to be our key level, or sorry, not quite that earnings high. We have our earnings high is all the way back up and towards our 340, which is a little bit further away. In this case, for Tesla, the key levels that we have marked out is going to be our 326, which is a very key technical level that we're currently at. We can also mark out that previous day highs here as well. So we have two key levels coming to market open. Pre-market highs, let's just drag this down into that previous day highs. And now coming to market open here for Tesla, right? That's where we're going to keep the reaction off of, I guess. Let me actually drag this down. So key technical levels here on Tesla, previous day highs 325 coming into market open. If you do want to see continuation above our previous day highs for a push towards the upside. Really, this is the only scenario if we reject right off the bat that you could be looking for the reclaim later into the day above that previous day highs. Let's take a look at AMD here. This one, of course, does have earnings coming up tonight. So we're going to be a little bit more hands-off on this ticker. But as for AMD, so far higher lows are being built on the daily. Now what we like to see is a reaction that we have off for 510. This is our original kind of range that we have marked out. If you go into the 4-hour time frame, you can see for AMD, you just kind of mark out this. This is our range consolidation. We finally broke outside of it, came back up, rejected. Now we're coming back up once again. Let's keep an eye on this 510. If we break back above that 510 with earnings, we can see a push already back up and towards our all-time highs. Of course, if we reject with earnings or the actual reaction after earnings, then we can see a move down in towards that 450. So we'll just be patient, wait for after earnings on AMD. As for NVIDIA, what do we have here? We just have price going from range low. And now what I want to see is a push back up and towards that range high. If we go into the lower time frames here, as you can see for NVIDIA, this one had a nice previous day high retest as well. Once we got back above that 202, nice continuation towards the highs. Other levels that we have marked out now is also going to be that previous day highs, 208. Let's keep an eye out on NVIDIA above our 208 for continuation up and towards that 212 and above. So this is what we have for NVIDIA coming into market open. Keep an eye out on that push up and towards that 212 here today. I'm going to be looking for that previous day highs for continuation. So we'll keep an eye out on NVIDIA, keep an eye out on Tesla. Let's take a look at Apple here. This one rejected off that earnings high that I talked about. So key technical level here on Apple is at 310. It came up yesterday, rejection, and now we're pushing right back down in towards that 300. Now for Apple, let's keep an eye on that 300. Underneath our previous day lows, we can see move down in towards that 300. If we come back down, buyers step in, then we can see a potential mean reversion back towards the upside. Let's take a look at Google. A lot of these names moved up nicely yesterday. So Google, Microsoft, Meta, along with Amazon. These are the Mag 7 names that we mentioned that were coming into key technical levels. As for Google here now, we are seeing a little bit of sellers kind of right off this 375, which is expected. But we end up having this nice push right off the bat up and towards that 375. Now you can see we have a little bit of sellers stepping in. Let's actually just refine this level here now as well. So key technical levels on Google is going to just be that previous day highs. If you want to see some upside above our previous day highs for continuation. Based off this nice push towards the upside here now, probably want to be a little bit more cautious, right? We already had that move up in towards our earnings high, plus our higher time frame key technical levels as well. Now for Google, we want to see more so this kind of cup and handle play out. Best case scenario, build up higher lows here on the hourly time frame, and we have continuation towards the upside. Another possible scenario, if China just breaks above our previous day highs, we could be looking for a continuation towards the upside here as well. But let's create this hourly flag for continuation higher. As for Microsoft, this one breaking above our key technical levels here as well. What do we have marked out? We have our 460. We had this nice push up in towards that 500 here. Similar thesis now for Microsoft. I just want to see a base above that 460 for continuation. We kind of have this daily gap that we created. We could see a pullback down into that 460, and then we're going to be looking for continuation higher. What are the key technical levels that I have marked out? We're just going to mark out that 460. That's going to be the key area here on Microsoft. Other levels that we're going to have marked out here, we can mark out that previous day highs, and now we can mark out that previous day lows coming into today. So for Microsoft, moving forward, we want to look at this more so on the hourly time frame. We can see a pullback down in towards that 470, and that would be still very bullish for continuation towards the upside. So keep an eye out on Microsoft above our 470 for continuation. Meta, this one had a nice pop yesterday, back above in towards that earnings high. Key technical levels that we have marked out, we can just mark this out. Came up into that earnings high, a little bit of rejection off that 600, and now you can see we're having a slight pullback. Meta is the one that's, I'd say, a little bit weaker compared to Google, Microsoft, and Amazon. But you can see nice buyers stepped in. We filled that daily gap back towards the upside. Now moving forward here on Meta, this one is a little bit weaker. I personally would like to see it back above that 600 for any sort of continuation back towards the upside. That's going to be key. As for Amazon, this one now, let's look for that previous all-time highs retest, the hold of that 277. Key technical levels that we have marked out here today is just going to be that previous day highs. Let's have this marked out. And now we have that previous all-time highs. So for Amazon key technical levels, we have that previous all-time highs. Let's see if buyers want to step in for that mean reversion back towards the upside here on Amazon. Another possible scenario, the bounce play here off that 270 for continuation back towards the upside. Netflix, not too much to talk about. SpaceX does have earnings today here as well. We are seeing a little bit of a bounce in the pre-market. Key technical levels that we do have marked out on SpaceX is this 118. We'll see the reaction coming into earnings, and then of course we'll wait for after earnings here as well. So nice pop in the after hours and in the pre-market. If we can get above that 118, we can see some continuation here on SpaceX. All right, with that being said, let's hop on to some other tickers that we have now. See some of you guys typing in Palantir. If you guys do have any charts or any tickers you'd like me to go over, you guys can now drop them in the chat. If you guys are enjoying this so far, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watches, that of course is in the description below here as well. Okay, let's talk about Palantir. Palantir, currently we're on the daily time frame. As you can see, if we're on the daily chart and we're to mark out like key technical levels, or if we're to mark out our Fibonacci's, I would mark it out from this swing low from April of last year, and then I'd drag it all the way to the highs. For something like Palantir, you can see roughly a 50 to 60% retracement. Now you can see buyers are stepping in. So we recently had earnings, and now you can see we're gapping up. We're breaking back above our key technical levels here as well, which is that 140. So for Palantir, what are the levels that we have moving forward? We're back above that 140. Now I'd just like to see it maintain above that 140 for continuation. The next levels that I do have is actually all the way back up and towards our 160, which is fairly far away. But other levels I'm going to mark in between, I'm going to mark out that 146. You can just mark out these daily highs. So for Palantir, at least for today, there are a couple targets that we can be looking to gravitate towards. Number one, that 146. You can see a little bit of reaction here in the pre-market. What I'd like to see now is above our 146, push up in towards that 150. If we pull back, we could be looking for a higher low, reclaim, and a push back up and towards that 150. So this is what we have for Palantir coming to market open. Keep an eye on Palantir day one earnings play. MU, this one is trying to build up a higher low. We need it back above that 900. That's going to be key. Daily higher lows are being built, but we could very much well come up, reject once again off that 900. We needed to see above our 900 for continuation. So for MU, this one, let's keep an eye out on MU above 920. SNDK, this one is back at our 1360. Let's keep an eye out on SNDK break above here coming into earnings. INTC, let's keep an eye out on Intel. We need it above our 97. Flip back above 97, continuation. Of course, it could potentially pull back down into that previous day highs. That would be another area for a potential buying opportunity here as well. WDC, similar thesis, right? We are above our previous day highs. Keep an eye on that previous day high retest, or now just this push up in towards our 580 here on the higher time frames. SK Hynix, this one kind of still right around that IPO low. Keep an eye on that 152, flip back above, continuation. MBIS is in a good key technical spot. I do like MBIS a lot, as I mentioned, right off that 140. Now this one, as you can see, we're trying to build up these daily higher lows and flip back here on the higher time frames. For MBIS, what I like to see now is a flip back above that 220. If you can get back above that 220, we can see some continuation back towards the upside. Key technical levels that we have marked out, 230, maintain above that 200, continuation above that 230. Now we can see that push back towards the upside here. MRVL in a very key technical area, 160. If we were to draw our Fibonacci from this swing low to this swing high, basically once again right into that 50% to that 61.8 retracement. Now I like to see buyers step in for a mean reversion back towards the upside. So for MRVL, keep an eye out on our previous day highs and our 200 key seg. So MRVL, keep an eye on that 200 for that bounce play for a pushback towards the upside. All right, TSM looks good. Higher lows are being built right off that 390. Let's look for continuation back towards upside on TSM. Hood, we needed to see back above that 91 for a flip back towards the upside. There's a lot of other names. SoFi bouncing right off the lows. Let's take a look at a couple other names. MSTR, I think, had a move in the overnight session. I guess this one did not. But let's look at a couple other names here. AVGO. AVGO right now, what I like to see is a break back above that 402. So AVGO has been consolidating after that gap down with earnings, and we've been consolidating. I would like AVGO for a flip back up and towards the highs. Plus, we have this huge earnings gap as well. So AVGO, keep an eye on AVGO for the break outside this range here today. Above our 404, we can see continuation towards the upside. I do like AVGO actually a lot today. So keep an eye on this AVGO range break back above this 404 for a continuation towards the upside. As for a few other tickers, let's take a look at HPE. This one looks good here as well in the daily time frame. Higher lows are being built after this really strong push towards the upside. Now we're going to be looking for the break above our 50, which we're currently doing. So HPE looks really solid. We're having some nice continuation, nice push in the after hours session. Maintain above really 51, continuation towards the upside. Now above our pre-market highs, we can see continuation here as well. Okay, let's go over the game plan for today, and then I'm going to get ready for market open here now. Do your team? Yes, we trade live every single morning in the New York session. As for the Qs, what's the game plan coming to market open here today? Number one, right, this is fairly bullish. We're above our previous day highs. We're coming into a key technical area. As I mentioned, above our pre-market highs continuation, or now the pullback down in towards our previous day highs for a push higher. As for the SPY, we are at our all-time highs here in the pre-market. So this is a very key technical level. We can see some sellers step in potentially right off the bat. So we could see a little bit of a retracement and then buyers step in off our previous day highs for a continuation towards the upside. So for SPY, we're going to be looking for the continuation higher, or if we pull back coming to market open, then we're going to maintain a bullish bias above our previous day highs. For the SMH, above our 560, maintain a bullish bias for a continuation higher. What are some of my main watches? Tesla above our previous day highs for continuation. I do like NVIDIA above our previous day highs for continuation up and towards this 212. Everything else, a lot of names are shaping up like a Google, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon. These ones are pulling back, but very bullish on the daily time frame. We'll keep an eye on that first pullback for continuation higher here. AVGO looks good for a break above this 404. I like this one quite a bit. Palantir, I like this one for a day one earnings play. Key technical levels that I have marked out is going to be that 146. Break above, hold for continuation towards the upside. And then for the rest of the tickers, I do like INTC for a push up in towards that 98 today. WDC push up in towards that 580. MU lagging just a bit behind. Let's keep an eye on MU for a push up in towards that 900 or that previous day high retest for continuation. And then a lot of other tickers, similar thesis. Just keep an eye on that previous day highs here. MRVL looks good as well. But coming to market open, there's a lot of things that look good, especially with the markets flipping here now as well back towards the upside. We're just going to keep an eye out on that previous day highs, of course, for continuation. Yeah, with that being said, I am going to get ready for market open here now. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy that. If you did, appreciate if you guys drop a like and sub. If you guys haven't joined the free daily watch set, of course, is in the description below. If you guys want to live trade with me, that's also in the description below as well. That being said, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. All right, take care, everyone. Peace.